Welcome everyone to On Time, On Target Financial Leadership Series. And the person I'm bringing you today is Brittney Nelson, and she has an amazing story to tell and about success in the entrepreneurial world with Prüvit, and how she's taken her income and gone to not only to where her side gig now became the primary gig. So she's got an amazing story to tell. If you've ever considered stepping out and doing something like this, listen to her words, because she's going to guide you on how to be successful pursuing that sort of business. Now, I will say that I've known Brittney for a few years now, and I met her at Orange Theory, if anybody's gone through that pain, which I enjoyed for about a year. And then I found out I'm probably not the guy to be at Orange Theory. I'm used to my wife kind of making me look bad in the gym. Everybody there, people twice my age were there. Everybody made me look bad. So I'm like, I need to go somewhere else and kind of tune myself up first. But that's where I met her. And then she also teaches at the same high school that my oldest daughter goes to, and she's an athlete there. So we see each other in athletic circles there as well. But just an amazing individual. She's got a lot to offer. She's high energy and done some cool stuff at such a young age. And with that, Brittney, over to you. Tell us about your backstory and kind of how did it all get started up through college, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And it's been such a whirlwind. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually 30 years old, and like Steve had said, I currently live in Austin, Texas. But I was a Michigan-born, Georgia-educated, and now a Texas resident. So, gosh, the backstory where it all started. I started playing basketball when I was 4 years old. To say that I have a competitive family would be a massive understatement. We can't get through a game of Monopoly without arguing, and most of the time it's my fault. But my dad played college hockey, my mom played college basketball, my brother, sister, and I all ended up playing college sports as well, all on full ride scholarships. And so it was kind of engraved into us at a very young age. And it wasn't always straight basketball. You know, they had us in club sports. They had us in country club sports. What I mean by that, like golf, tennis, swimming. Right. Soccer was never my thing. So that was the one sport I never played. But I'll never forget, my mom had me go try out for a 10 and under team with club basketball when I was about 6 years old. And I made the team. And so that's really where it all started. Most through middle school and high school, I played volleyball and basketball. And then into my senior year, I gave up volleyball and just focused on basketball. So constantly had older siblings beating up on me, making me tougher, making me more physical. Like I said, the home front was a competitive spirit at all times, regardless of what we were doing. Whether it be sports, cards, dinner, who could finish their plate first, who could get their chores done first to go outside and play. So that piece has just been engraved in me since I was a little girl. And then I kind of followed in my brother and sister's footsteps and decided to go south. So being from Michigan, about an hour north of Detroit, eat 'em up Tigers.
There we go.
But ended up going to school in South Georgia, started off at Georgia Southern. So in Statesboro, it's the Eagles. Played there for actually a year. Full ride scholarship, left on my own accord, got homesick, transferred back to a Division I school in Michigan, played there for about 2 years. Let's just say I decided to leave for, coaching player reasons. And then I went back to Georgia and finished off in Titletown, USA at Valdosta State University. So basically, to sum it up, I was a 3-year Division I athlete, and then finished off my last and final year at Valdosta State, where I would later go pursue my master's in education. And then throughout those other 3 schools, I was pursuing a mathematics degree. So total nerd over here.
Right. I'm familiar.
Yep. So got my bachelor's in math, and then decided to stay on as the graduate assistant in Valdosta. They paid for my master's. And then shortly decided when that was done, just decided that playing overseas wasn't for me, and for reasons just safety wise that I won't get into that happened with my brother, but decided to move to Texas. Seems like an awesome opportunity for young people. And that's when I started at Round Rock with my first job. So that's kind of how it came full circle. But I think what the coolest part about that is my brother, sister, myself, my mom, my dad, none of us have any college debt. I mean, literally everything was paid for through athletics. So it's been a huge blessing in disguise.
Yeah, that is certainly an amazing, amazing resume that led you up to, getting your master's already paid for. I, was very fortunate myself, and I did the same thing through a military venue. But you're right, you are starting life, with a master's degree at what, 23 or 24 with no debt, and that's obviously it took a lot of hard work to get to that point. So if you can have the ability to orchestrate something like that, obviously you're setting yourself up for success already. Self-described math nerd. I got that. I am too. So an undergraduate in math, and then you talked about your education or education masters. So did you want to go into teaching and coach, or did you want to go into coaching and teach, if you know what I'm saying there? What was your motivation to go into that?
Yeah. Truth be told, I knew I always wanted to stay around the sport. That was my passion. Just several of my biggest mentors growing up were coaches and were teachers in that matter. The way it is in Texas, if you want to coach somewhere, it's not like this in Michigan, but you have to teach there. And I knew I wanted to be in and around kids. Getting a math degree, I could have gone into the field of being an actuary or estimating where companies are going to go, but I'm just not a cubicle desk person. I like to be in and around kids. And the way that my coaches impacted me, I knew I wanted to give back to the community in that same fashion. And so I knew I always wanted to be in the classroom, but if you're asking me if I could go without the math and just go straight coaching, then 100% yes.
Well, it's impressive, and she's very humble, because I will brag about Round Rock, and she's obviously worked her way up to what I would consider the top. I'm biased, but from a division perspective, Texas 6A, these are huge schools. Round Rock's got, I believe, 3,400 or so students on the whole campus. So it's kind of crazy. My daughter she's about to be a junior. There's over 1,000 in her class. So we're talking, she's at 30 and she's already kind of at the top of the coaching game, at least at the high school level. So that's very, very impressive. But what I want, the lesson that I really want to get to talk about today, and it's the exciting part. So for listeners out there that have considered getting into a kind of a marketing network sort of type of product or business, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and you hear some very successful people, and one of them, you're listening to today. So Brittney, tell us how you found out about Prüvit and how you got started and how it changed your life. Just and don't be shy. I want to hear the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. It's only been 2.5 years. And first and foremost, I just want to tell everybody, like, supplements have never been my jam. Being a college athlete and being raised in a family where exercise was very important, I've always been a firm believer: calories in, calories out, workout, you'll get results, you'll feel great. And so any products that have ever come out, I'm the biggest skeptic, and now being a 30-year-old female, my body is not functioning the way it used to in its 20s. But I did tell Steve when we started this call, do not use a high school photo, because I'm in better shape now at 30 than I was at 18, body shape and everything. And so basically, like he mentioned, we work out at Orange Theory together, and that's actually where I found this. And so many of you probably know the buzzword keto and the keto diet, and I'm just not one of those people who can do diets. I'm a yo-yo dieter. It works while I do it, and then the second that I get off of it, I crave everything that I cut out. And so basically, long story short, I had found the product from now one of my best friends who I met at Orange Theory. Her name is Nicolette. She had been posting about it on social media, and finally I just reached out to her and kind of asked, like, hey, what is this? I was diagnosed with celiac about 3 years ago, which is a gluten intolerance. So without being too much information, my gut health sucked. And I was looking for something to help with that. I was also working out at Orange Theory, not getting the results that I wanted. So I needed the product. And I always start with that because I think everybody is always looking to improve their energy, their sleep, their mood, their gut health, the fat loss, everything. Especially coming out of Corona and this pandemic, like, people can see health and wellness is no longer a privilege. So the product is something that I needed, and it's something that I desired. But at the same time, not to get too emotional with my story, I had recently bought a house and my engagement had failed, and which I'm okay with. I think God has a plan for everybody. But I was stuck with a mortgage that I could not afford on a teacher salary at the time when I was just
Right.
coaching. And so when I came across the product, I was super excited and I knew I wanted it for myself. But if it did half of what it said it was going to do, I knew there was going to be a lot of people that would want this. And so that's how it started. And I kind of just jumped all in, scared as hell, to be honest. I didn't have money to spend, but I'm the type of person, the way my mom taught me, she's in the background, like she's just a very driven, hardworking woman. And when my back is against the wall, it's going to make me push that much harder, you know, like until you
Right.
hit rock bottom, you really don't know what hard work is, you know, or what it's like to
Sure.
go after something and succeed. So I jumped in all at the same time, customer, promoter, in the same day I joined the business, the second that I started drinking them, and really just kind of shared my excitement to get started. And, you know, my whole family has been drinking them now. I went from a size 10 to a size 6 in 63 days. I became a
Wow.
normal person to go to the bathroom. My workouts improved. I didn't compromise my muscle mass. I was sleeping like a husband, as they would call it. And then it also helped my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, who's 6'7", 200 pounds, never thought he would touch the product, but for reasons of like sleep and focus. And so it's been crazy. It's been a ride that I never would have expected. I feel so blessed to be a part of the community. Some of my best friends have come out of it. And to be quite frank, I was never expecting it to improve me as a person. I think that my mindset has 100% shifted. I think that my temper has gone down. I think that I've become
Would your
more
girls say
patient.
that at basketball or no?
You know, I'm not a yeller, but they know, like, when Coach Nelson's being serious, we're getting down to business. Otherwise, to the line they go. But what's really neat about you even bringing that up is some of the things that I've learned throughout Prüvit and this community of being involved with this business are things that I've taken into coaching and teaching. Just massive lessons that I can teach with my girls about adaptability and going after what you want and no dream being too big. And so to fast forward 4 months, it became my main source of income. And
Wow.
it's not a difficult business. It's actually very easy because people want what we have. And it's just literally, it's crazy. It's my main source of income, but my part-time job. And so now I drive a luxury vehicle that is paid for. I have a Jaguar F-Pace and I love it. But I drive it to work and kids just can't believe that that's my car. So now I've been sharing ketones for 2.5 years. I've built a massive team. And I think that I'm just not to boast, but I know that with being a head coach at a 6A high school of actually almost 4,000 students, and with my job of teaching math and being busy, I know that like if I can do this, anybody can do it. And so now 2.5 years in, my goal for 2020 is for it to triple my teacher salary. So it's been a wild ride. I mean, it's been fun and we're only growing. We just opened in 2 continents, in the UK and in the United Kingdom and over in Europe. And so it's just the beginning. We're a baby company. It's only 4 months in, and I mean, I love it. You can prick your finger, pee on a stick, and see that the product does exactly what it says it's going to do. Diet independent, you get all the benefits of ketosis. So it's been unreal.
Well, I appreciate that story, and I appreciate you sharing both the highs and the lows of the journey along the way. And sometimes that's what it takes in life, right? So think of that, some of the numbers. It is a financial show, so we always kind of, you know, for those that are thinking of not only going on the journey, think of the numbers that Brittney threw out there. 4 months to, you know, surpass her teacher salary, and then, you know, the goal of 3x in her salary this year. So that's one of those things where you know, working your butt off, you know, it's something, and it can really pay those sorts of dividends. So thank you for sharing that. Now, I do know at some point in time here, so I have, Brittney's one of those people, if you're Facebook friends with her, she's one of like, you know, 10 folks that you can't help but live vicariously through them, because they're always posting these pictures from cool places and, you know, smiles all around and, you know, fun places and out on boats and things. So it's just a great to watch you enjoy your life and, you know, be super successful along the way. But you do have to tell I saw a picture, I think, of a private jet. So what's going on there, and how do I get in on that as a pilot?
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe that still happened. The best friend that I met through this community at Orange Theory and now is my business partner, Nicolette, our CEO, basically Brian Underwood. You wouldn't think with most of these businesses that you would ever get to sit down and have a conversation with the CEO.
Right.
And I mean, I have his phone number. We talk probably once every 3 weeks. He texts me probably once a week, just asking me how I'm personally doing. And I'll never forget, Nicolette reached out to me. This is over the summer, so I'm not teaching. All I'm doing is like running camps and stuff. But I'll never forget, she's like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And I'm like, this week, it's Thursday, mind you. And she's like, yeah, what are you doing this weekend? She's like, you want to fly to Georgia, then go to Florida and back to Dallas? And I'm like, wait, what? She was like, yeah, by private jet. And so basically, it was just really neat. Brian pours into every single person in our community, regardless of the level. And I just think that he likes to reward those who have a burning desire, who are doing the things and just have a massive vision for themselves. And so Nicolette must have bragged on me and told the CEO about me or whatever. And anyways, he picked us up. We had to drive to Dallas. That was the only thing we had to do. 3 hours. Signed me up. So picked us up in a private jet. I mean, ketones just to the nines, like whole drawers full of products that we would spend a lot of money on. Had swag for us, had a bunch of Prüvit gear that we got to keep. Basically food and drinks, not alcohol, but food and drinks on the plane. And it was just a big mastermind with him. And it's not often that you get to sit down face to face. We do Zoom calls like this all the time, but face to face with the CEO. So we flew to Atlanta, had a whole massive event there on a Saturday, and then we left Saturday night, flew down to Florida, and then next thing you know, I was back in Dallas on Monday. But it was just one of those experiences that you look back and you're like, holy crap, I can't believe that this even happened. But for me, I just felt like a little fish in a big pond. And that's, again, what's so inspiring and moving about this community is they truly do value every single person that comes in, whether you're a customer or promoter. But looking back on it, I'm like, I'm ready for another jet flight. I could text him when we get off this call and be like, hey, when's the next trip? And he'll just ask me, what's your schedule? Like, who do you want to bring? So it's really cool.
That is a great story. And obviously you've worked so hard, so you deserve all that success you've gotten. And normally at this point with the leadership series, I say, hey, what would you tell a younger version of yourself or a group full of 25-year-olds? Well, gosh, at 30, you're not much older than that. So I would say, what would you tell somebody that's maybe 22 or so and kind of mentor them, your words of wisdom for how can they succeed, not only at, teaching, coaching, but maybe as an entrepreneur? What would you have to offer there?
Yeah, a couple things. I truly do believe make your job your passion, or have your passion be your job. I don't feel like I work a day in my life. I love going to work. I love coaching. I love teaching. I love helping people with their health and wellness. And I think it's super awesome that I get to help moms and dads retire their husband or retire their spouse and stay at home with their kids more often. And so I would say, first and foremost, whatever you're doing, make sure that it's inspired action and it's something that you're super passionate about. And then the second piece of advice I would give is, there's a million ways to make $1 million, but if you find something that you're super passionate about, then the activity and the time that you put into it is going to be habitual. It's going to be something that you enjoy. I don't do this. Of course, the money is nice, and I'm super excited that I have a massive savings for when and if I ever get married and have kids. But to see other people win is really cool. And the biggest thing I would say is, to kind of end this answer, is, it's lonely at the top. It really is. And when you start to find success and you get involved with something, you have a lot of naysayers and you have a lot of haters that are judging you and critiquing you, and they're watching you. And so I would just say, divorce the outcome and marry the process. Just like with any job, I don't think that people climb the ladder in a matter of a month or two. No job that you get in or you start, or any second means of income or entrepreneurship, is it going to happen overnight. It takes consistency and it takes inspired action. And I think having a vision is super important. But don't expect it to happen overnight. You look at me, I went for my bachelor's with math and my master's with education. That took me 6 years to make a teacher's salary income.
Right. Yep.
So the
Yeah.
fact that I busted my tail for 4 months with Prüvit and it became my main source of income, you know, you guys can do that with anything, but I think once you find your niche and once you find your passion, the supplement or the product really doesn't matter, but just make sure it's something that you believe in and it's something that you share because you use it every day and you've watched it change thousands of lives. I mean, that's the part that's so rewarding.
Yeah, you bet. Well, those are certainly wise words anyway, let alone from somebody that's achieved so much so quickly. So that's, I mean, it's so exciting. I know people are listening to this and saying, gosh, she's amazing. I want to be like her. I want to connect with her. I want to find out more about Prüvit. What can you offer us? And again, I'll put this in the show notes as well for contact information or social media, anything you want to throw out there for us.
Yeah, I mean, I have an Instagram page. You guys might laugh at this. It's titled Britt Loves Keto. I don't follow strict keto, so some people get super confused. I also have a TikTok. Yes, I resorted to TikTok. Now my kids, by the way, all my athletes are super jealous because I have more followers than them.
I bet, yeah. I know
But
how
anyways,
that works.
that's Britt Loves Keto. And then, you know, I have a unique referral code as far as the product is concerned. That's attached to my name. So you can go Google Prüvit, and then my referral code is just B as in Brittney, and then A for my middle name, and then Nelson. But I would just, you know, I don't want people, if they decide to get started with the product or the business, this isn't one of those things where you get something off the shelf and it's like, hey, good luck, talk to you never. I take a lot of pride in connecting with my customers and my team. So I have an amazing Facebook page. It's called Stronger with Ketones. It's free for everybody. It's a recipe page that I have over 600 recipes. And I firmly believe when you surround yourself with like-minded people, you're bound to be more successful. So feel free to look up that page on Facebook, and then we can connect either on one of those social media platforms, or you can give out my cell phone for all I care. But yeah, that's how you guys can get connected within our community, whether it be as a customer or you're deciding like, wow, I would love to call Prüvit home and build a massive business. So it's just the beginning. Like I said, we're a baby company, less than 5 years.
Yeah, I thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I know time's not easy to come by and you're there with family. So appreciate taking a few minutes out of your day to share that with us and share your success, and just nothing but impressed with what you've done, and your future is only going to get brighter, right? So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And please tell your family I said hi.
Oh, we'll do that, of course. So listeners, I mean, that was a great story you got to hear. A lot happened in just a small amount of time. So if that's something you're interested in, again, reach out to Brittney, and you too can get involved in something like that. So thanks for listening. And here's to you keeping on time, on target with your financial and career goals out there. Take care.